Everybody wants to be successful. Everybody says they want the dream. They want the house, the car, the freedom, the recognition, the lifestyle. But when you ask them, how bad do you want it? They freeze, they stumble, they pause. And that pause, that hesitation, that's your answer right there. See, wanting something and being willing to pay the price for it are two very different things. You say you want to be a lion, but you out here acting like a kitten. You say you want to be great, but your work ethic doesn't match your ambition. You say you want to build something, leave a legacy, change the game, but you're sleeping in, quitting early, complaining loud, and training soft. There's a moment in life, and it comes for all of us, when your back is against a wall. No plan B, no soft landing, no handouts, just pressure. And in that moment, you're going to have to ask yourself, how bad do I want it? Because when you want it as bad as you want to breathe, not just talk about it, not just dream about it, but need it, that's when something shifts inside of you. That's when excuses stop. That's when the grind becomes non-negotiable. That's when you go from being interested to being obsessed. The people who win in this life, they are always the smartest or the most talented or the most connected, but they're the ones who refuse to quit. They're the ones who work while others sleep. They're the ones who show up every single day with fire in their chest and grit in their blood. There's a part of this speech that always hits different, and it's this right here. Don't cry to quit, cry to keep going. You're already in pain, you're already tired. So don't you dare waste that suffering, make it count, turn it into power, turn it into fuel. You say you want the reward, but are you ready for the sacrifice? You say you want the results, but are you willing to do what it takes when no one's watching? You say you want to be the best, but are you ready to be misunderstood, underestimated, and doubted, and still keep moving? Because that's the question that separates average from elite. Talkers from doers, dreamers from winners. How bad do you want it? Listen to me. There's no magic pill, no shortcut, no cheat code. If you want to make it to the top, it's going to hurt. Pain is the price. Success is rented and rent is due every single day. There's no elevator. It's all stairs, all grind, all sacrifice. While they're partying, you're planning. While they're sleeping, you're grinding. While they're doubting you, you're working in silence. You think pain is your enemy? Nah, pain is your proof. Pain says you're still in the fight. Pain says you're stretching, growing, breaking limits. So stop running from pain. Run through it, bleed for it, sweat for it. Because the pain you feel today is the strength you build for tomorrow. But here's the truth. Discipline over motivation. Motivation gets you started, but it fades. It's like a spark. It feels good. It's hype. But when that alarm clock hits at 4 a.m., when nobody's clapping for you, that's when discipline shows up. That's when you do what needs to be done, whether you feel like it or not. The great ones, they don't rely on mood. They don't wait for the perfect day. They create the perfect day by showing up day after day, brick by brick. It ain't sexy, it ain't flashy, but it works. Discipline turns average into unstoppable. Because while motivation screams, discipline whispers, keep going. You got dreams? Then get obsessed. Because obsession beats talent every time. Talent is nice, but it gets lazy. Talent relaxes, but obsession wakes you up with fire in your chest. Obsession makes you study while others scroll. Obsession makes you stay late, grind harder. You don't need to be the most gifted. You just need to want it more than everybody else. People call you crazy. Let them. They'll call you obsessed. Say thank you. That's how you know you're on the right path. That's how you know you locked in. While they're talking, you're walking. While they're hating, you're building. Stay obsessed. Stay dangerous. And here's the punchline. It's earned. not given. Nobody owes you anything. Not your parents, not your coach, not your boss, not the world. If you want it, you got to take it. You got to earn it with blood, sweat, tears, and time. Every inch, every victory, every win is paid for in full. You don't deserve it until you fight for it. So I ask you again, how bad do you want it? Because if you want it bad enough, you'll crawl through broken glass, you'll fall and get up. You'll lose and still believe. You'll grind even when your body screams no. If you want it bad enough, the pain won't stop you. It'll build you. Everybody wants the glory, but nobody wants the grind. Everybody wants to cross the finish line, but nobody wants to run through the mud, crawl through the dirt, bleed through the battle. You hear people say it all the time. I want to be successful. I want to change my life. I want more. But wanting it is not enough, not even close. You don't get what you want in life. You get what you're willing to suffer for, because success has a price, and that price is pain. Pain is not optional. It's not negotiable. It's the entry fee to everything you ever said you wanted. If you want to win, you got to pay in full, upfront, and in pain. That's the currency. You're not going to be able to skip it, avoid it, or find a discount version of it. You're not going to be able to talk your way around it, pray your way around it, or fake your way through it. If you want that level up, if you want that dream life, if you want to be legendary, then you're going to have to hurt for it. Now, I'm not talking about the kind of pain that just stings for a moment. I'm talking about that deep, aching, soul-shaking pain, the kind that shows up when you're exhausted and still have miles to go. The kind that whispers in your ear, give up, nobody will blame you. The kind that makes most people quit. But you, if you want it bad enough, you learn how to use that pain. Most people see pain as punishment, but the few who win, they see pain as permission. Permission to grow, permission to evolve, permission to earn the next level, because pain is honest. Pain will always tell you the truth. Pain doesn't lie. It doesn't flatter you. It doesn't give you shortcuts. It shows up when you're stepping outside your comfort zone. It shows up when you're leveling up. And if you can learn to embrace that pain instead of fearing it, you'll unlock a version of yourself that you didn't even know existed. Pain forces you to get real. It burns away the fluff. It strips away the lies. When you're in pain, you don't have time for ego. You don't have time for fake motivation or empty promises. All you've got left is your raw willpower, your reason, your why. That's why pain is the price, because it tests you. It tests how bad you really want it. You say you want to lose the weight, but when the hunger pangs hit and your body's aching from the gym, do you cave or do you grind? You say you want to be a champion, but when your competition is training harder than you, do you step up or step back? You say you want to be successful, but when you fail again and again and again, when it's lonely, when it's dark, when the voices in your head are telling you that you're not good enough, do you rise or do you run? Everybody talks about pressure like it's a bad thing, but pressure creates diamonds. Pressure turns coal into something unbreakable. And the only way to find out if you're a diamond or dust is to put yourself through that pressure. You want to change your life? Then pain is part of the process. You're going to lose friends. You're going to be misunderstood. People will doubt you. You're going to be broke sometimes. You're going to cry yourself to sleep. You're going to sacrifice time, comfort, pleasure, sleep. And for what? For a dream nobody else can see. For a vision that only you believe in. That's lonely. That's painful. But that's necessary. You can't be great without going through something. You can't be strong if you never had to lift anything heavy. Mentally, emotionally, spiritually. You can't lead if you've never been broken. The greatest leaders The greatest champions, they all have scars. They all have wounds. They've all been knocked down and gotten back up. That's how you earn strength. That's how you build character. See, the truth is, pain is the only real teacher. Success doesn't teach you much. You win, you celebrate, you move on. But pain stops you. It humbles you. It teaches you discipline. It teaches you gratitude. It teaches you resilience. You don't learn grit from a win. You learn it from a loss that almost broke you, but didn't. You learn it from a night where everything in you wanted to quit, but you kept going anyway. That's what builds the kind of strength that nobody can take from. Most people avoid pain at all costs. That's why they stay average. That's why they never see what they're really made of. But if you want something extraordinary, if you want to become something rare, you have to do what most people won't. You have to lean into the pain. You have to get comfortable being uncomfortable. You have to smile while it's hard because you know that on the other side of that struggle is your breakthrough. That's the secret nobody wants to hear. Pain is the doorway. It's the gatekeeper. And every single time you push through it, you get one step closer to the life you say you want. So the question isn't, can I avoid the pain? The question is, can I endure it? Can I outlast it? You've already been through pain in your life. But the question is, did you let it break you or did you let it build you? Because pain will do one of two things. It'll destroy you or it'll define you. It's up to you to decide which one. And look, I know you're tired. I know it hurts. I know it feels like the fight is never ending. But let me tell you something. If you quit now, all that pain will have been for nothing. But if you keep going, if you refuse to break, if you lean into it and say, I'm not done yet, that pain becomes your story. That pain becomes your proof. That pain becomes your power. The greatest people in the world didn't get there because life was easy. They got there because they were willing to do what most people couldn't. They didn't just survive the pain. They used it. They took it and turned it into fuel. They turned it into art, into strength, into strategy, into passion. That's what made them different. Not talent, not luck. Just the willingness to suffer on purpose. So if you're still wondering what it takes, still wondering if you're cut out for this, here's your answer. Pain is the price. The question is, are you willing to pay it? Because if you are, there's nothing you can't do. Everybody wants to feel good. Everybody wants that height, that jolt of energy, that rush of motivation that gets you up and running. And yeah, motivation's great when it shows up. Motivation will get you out the bed. Motivation will make you post quotes. Motivation will get you through the first rep, the first mile, the first challenge. But let me tell you something that might sting a little. Motivation is soft. Motivation is a mood. Discipline is a mindset. Motivation is an emotion. Discipline is a decision. Motivation is unpredictable. It comes and goes. But discipline is consistent. It don't care about your feelings. It don't need to feel good to get going. Discipline shows up when motivation disappears. Discipline don't wait for the stars to align or for life to get easy. It creates its own momentum. That's the difference between winners and everybody else. Motivation is what gets you started. It lights the match. But if you're counting on motivation to carry you through the storm, you're going to get wrecked. Because when life punches you in the mouth, and it will, motivation is the first to run. But discipline is the one standing in your corner when everything else falls apart. You think champions train because they feel like it? You think they get up every day with a smile, bouncing out of bed like a movie montage? No, they wake up tired. They wake up sore. They wake up drained. But they still lace up. They still grind because their goals don't care how they feel. And neither does reality. They made a decision to be great. And that decision overrides the emotion of the moment. That's discipline. Discipline is doing what needs to be done even when you don't want to do it. It's holding yourself accountable when nobody's watching. It's locking in when distractions are screaming for your attention. It's showing up day after day, doing the reps, putting in the hours, keeping your promises, not because it's fun, but because it's necessary. The world doesn't reward the most excited person. It rewards the most consistent. And consistency only comes from discipline. I'm talking about waking up at 5 a.m. when nobody's clapping, eating clean when everybody else is ordering fast food, studying late when your friends are out partying, saying no to things that feel good right now so you can say yes to something greater later. Discipline is the grind you do in the dark for the shine you want in the light. Let me tell you what discipline really is. It's the art of keeping your word to yourself. It's self-respect. It's saying, I'm not going to break promises to myself just because I'm uncomfortable. Because when you break those promises, you teach yourself that your word don't mean anything, that your goals don't really matter, that your dreams are negotiable. But when you keep those promises, when you stay solid, when you stay 10 toes down, even when everything in you wants to quit, that's when you build something unshakable. And don't get it twisted. Discipline ain't sexy. It ain't glamorous. It's boring. It's repetition. It's doing the same thing over and over without applause, without fanfare, without a pat on the back. It's going to bed early, is skipping the party, is doing the extra reps, is being so focused, so locked in that people start calling you obsessed. Good, let them. Because discipline turns obsession into legacy, into greatness, into history. Everybody talks about sacrifice, but most people don't know what real sacrifice feels like. Discipline is sacrifice. You have to kill the version of yourself that wants comfort, that wants easy, that wants balance. There is no balance when you're chasing something extraordinary. You either go all in or stay all out. Half-stepping don't get you there. Being kind of disciplined is the same as not being disciplined at all. It's a lie we tell ourselves so we can feel better about falling short. You don't accidentally become elite. You don't stumble into greatness. You build it with brick after brick of boring, brutal, relentless. You want to know why people stay average? Because average is easy. Average is comfortable. Average is convenient. And people chase motivation because motivation feels good. Discipline feels like work. Discipline feels like pain. Discipline feels like waking up and knowing you got to do it again and again and again, even if you don't see the results right away. But guess what? That's the point. Discipline is delayed gratification. It's believing in a future result so deeply that you'll suffer in the present without any guarantee. Just faith, just grit, just hunger. You want to be great? Then stop chasing the spark. Start building the fire. Because that spark you're chasing, that little jolt of motivation, it fizzles out the moment life gets real. But that fire built by discipline, that fire stays burning. Discipline is the reason the great ones don't fall off. Because once you rely on discipline, it becomes your foundation, your code, your system. And when things go sideways, when motivation is gone, when energy is low, when stress is high, discipline keeps you aligned with your mission. Discipline becomes your muscle memory. It becomes instinct. It becomes identity. And identity, that's where the real power lives. See, it's one thing to do disciplined things, but it's another thing to be a disciplined person. That's the switch right there. That's when the game changes. When the gym is no longer a chore, it's who you are. When working on your craft is no longer a task, it's what you breathe. When turning down distractions isn't hard, it's natural because you built a self-image that doesn't flinch, that doesn't fold, that doesn't compromise. That's why you can't wait to feel motivated. Motivation might get you to show up once, but only discipline can make you show up forever. So if you want to separate yourself from the pack, don't ask how to stay motivated. Ask how to become disciplined, because discipline doesn't care about the weather. Discipline doesn't care if it's your birthday. Discipline doesn't care if you're tired. It only cares about one thing. Did you do what you said you were going to do? The mindset that makes champions. So let me ask you something. Can you show up when nobody's clapping for you? Can you put in the work when no one's validating you? Can you stay locked in when everything around you is pulling you in a different direction? That's discipline. You say you want it. You say you're hungry, but If you can't be disciplined, that hunger will fade. That fire will die out. But if you build a discipline, if you make that your foundation, there's no storm that can break you, no loss that can stop you, no setback that can shake you. Because when motivation leaves, and trust me, it will, discipline will be right there, waiting. And that is where champions are made. You want to be great? You want to rise up and live a life that most people only dream about? Then you better understand this. Sacrifice is not optional. It's mandatory. You don't get to have it all. You don't get to keep your comfort and chase your calling at the same time. You don't get to scroll all night, sleep in, hit snooze, party on the weekends, binge watch shows, and then act surprised when nothing changes in your life. You're not going to get the dream without giving something up. That's not negativity. That's the truth. That's the game. That's the price. You want success? Then you better start counting the cost. Because every dream comes with a receipt. Every goal comes with a price tag. And if you're not willing to pay in time, energy, effort, focus, relationships, comfort, then sit down. Sit down and stop wasting your own time. Because greatness doesn't show up for people who kind of want it. It only shows up for the ones who are willing to bleed for it. See, sacrifice is the separator. It's the line in the sand between the people who say they want it and the people who prove it. Everybody talks big when they're inspired. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to build something incredible. I'm going to go all in. But the moment the cost comes due, the moment they're asked to let go of something they enjoy, that's when they fold. That's when they retreat. That's when you find out they didn't really want it. They just like the idea of wanting it. You say you want to be a millionaire, but you won't cut back on spending. You say you want to be in the best shape of your life, but you're not willing to eat clean or train when it's inconvenient. You say you want to build a business, but you still need to be entertained every second of the day. Come on. You say you want it, but your actions are screaming, I'd rather stay comfortable. Sacrifice is proof. That's it. That's the test. If you're not willing to give something up for your goal, it's not a real goal. It's a wish. And this world doesn't reward wishers. It rewards workers. It rewards the people who can look at the distractions, look at the temptations, look at the easy route and say, no, I'm locked in. Look around. Everybody's chasing comfort. Everybody's chasing pleasure. Everybody's chasing convenience. That's why most people stay broke. That's why most people stay unhealthy. That's why most people stay stuck, because they refuse to choose pain over pleasure. They refuse to choose the hard way, the way that leads to purpose. But the ones who win, they don't just choose sacrifice. They embrace it. They don't just tolerate the grind. They live in it. They understand that every time they say no to something average, they're saying yes to something extraordinary. Every time they walk away from the easy path, they're carving their own lane. You want to level up? Start sacrificing like it. Sacrifice your excuses. Sacrifice your ego. Sacrifice your comfort. Sacrifice your old identity. Stop trying to hold on to who you were and become who you were meant to be. That's not easy. That's not quick. That's not glamorous. It's lonely, it's exhausting, it's uncomfortable, but it's necessary. You think Kobe became Kobe without sacrifice? You think Serena, Elon, Oprah, MJ, Musk, any of the greats, you think they got where they are without giving up pieces of themselves to fuel that mission? Nah. They gave up comfort, they gave up security, they gave up friends. They gave up time. They gave up everything average so they could become something exceptional. And here's the realest part. Sacrifice doesn't stop once you start winning. In fact, the higher you go, the more you have to sacrifice. More responsibility, more pressure, more eyes watching, more voices doubting, more distractions coming for your focus. It only gets harder. But that's why so few people make it to the top. Because every level demands a deeper level of sacrifice. You're not going to win unless you're willing to lose first. Lose confidence, lose popularity, lose free time, lose fake friends. You're going to have to be misunderstood. You're going to have to be doubted. You're going to have to walk alone for a while. But guess what? You'll gain clarity. You'll gain self-respect. You'll gain power. You'll gain freedom. You'll gain a life you actually chose, not one you settled for. You'll look back and realize all those temporary sacrifices were just investments. Every party you skipped, every dollar you saved, every rep you pushed, every late night, every early morning, every hard decision, all of it meant something, but only if you stayed the course. Because here's the other thing about sacrifice. It don't pay off right away. That's what messes most people up. We live in this world where everybody wants things now, results now, success now, transformation now. But that's not how greatness works. Sacrifice plants seeds. Sacrifice builds roots. And the fruit, the reward, that only comes if you wait, if you grind, if you believe. So, if you're in the season of sacrifice right now, if you're grinding in the dark, if you're tired, if you're broke, if you're doubting yourself, if nobody's clapping for you, good. That means you're on the right track. That means you're doing what most people won't. That means you're building something that lasts. Because when you sacrifice now, you don't just win later, you become someone different. You become someone who doesn't fold, someone who doesn't settle, someone who finishes. And the truth is, you'll never know who you really are until you give something up, until you look life in the face and say, you can take everything from me, my comfort, my time, my sleep, my money, but you can't take my will, you can't take my dream, you can't take my hunger. That's sacrifice. So the next time you're tired, the next time you're tempted to slack off, the next time you want to coast, ask yourself one question: how bad do you want it? Because if you really want it, if you want it in your soul, then you'll prove it. You'll sacrifice for it. You say you want it. You say you're hungry. You say you're willing to grind for it. Cool. But let me ask you something, real something most people never even consider. Can you endure? Can you stay locked in, stay solid, stay focused when the lights go out? Can you keep pushing when it hurts? When it's not working, when everything in you is screaming to quit. See, everybody loves the idea of success. They love the story, the highlight reel, the gold medal, the applause. But what they never talk about, what they never prepare for, is the pain, the pressure, the delay, the silence. Because the truth is, the path to greatness is not straight. It's not quick. It's not smooth. It's a long, brutal, twisted road that will break you, test you, and stretch you in ways you never imagined. And the only thing that gets you through that road, the only thing that separates the one who finishes from the one who folds, is resilience. Resilience ain't sexy. It's not exciting. It doesn't look good on Instagram. It's not a caption. It's not a vibe. It's not a mood. It's war. Resilience is what shows up when everything else disappears, when the hype dies, when the plan falls apart, when nothing is going your way, when you're on the edge, tired, broke, stressed, uncertain, but you refuse to give in, you refuse to break. That's resilience. That's inner strength. That's grit. Let me tell you something nobody's going to warn you about. This dream you're chasing, it's going to hurt you. It's going to knock the wind out of you. It's going to test your patience. It's going to isolate you. You will fail. You will fall. You will lose sleep, lose confidence, lose people. And in those moments when it feels like it's all falling apart, when you're alone in the storm, that's when your real self is revealed. Anybody can show up when things are good. Anybody can grind when everything's clicking. But who are you when the storm hits? Who are you when life punches you in the face and there's no plan B? You say you want it bad, cool, but do you want it bad enough to keep going after your first failure? After your fifth? After your 15th? Because let me be clear, failure is not the opposite of success. It's part of the process. You don't get to skip it. You don't get to avoid it. You either learn from it or lose to it. And if you don't have the resilience to get back up every single time you fall, then you don't really want this. You want it until it hurts. But the ones who make it, They want it through the hurt. Resilience is about showing up on the days you don't feel like it. It's about doing the work when nobody's watching, when nobody's texting good job, when nobody's liking your progress. It's about dragging yourself through the fire and saying, is that all you got? It's about staying in the fight when your legs are shaking and your mind is screaming, quit. Look, there are going to be days, I promise you, when you want to give up. Days where nothing goes right. Days where the weight is heavy and the world is quiet. And you feel like your best will never be enough. On those days, you have a choice. Do I run or do I rise? That choice will define you. You want greatness? Then get ready to suffer. Get ready to struggle. Get ready to climb with bloody hands and tear-streaked eyes. Because there are no shortcuts, no cheat codes, no magic formulas. There's only the grind and your ability to endure it. You want to be different? Then stop expecting easy. Stop expecting immediate results. Stop thinking it's supposed to feel good all the time. It won't. But guess what? The pain is shaping you. The struggle is strengthening you. The struggle is strengthening you. The pressure is producing something inside you that can't be built any other way. Because every time you get back up, every time you push through, every time you keep going when everything in you says stop, you're not just surviving, you're evolving. You're becoming stronger, sharper, smarter, hungrier. That's what resilience does. It forges warriors. Let me ask you something real. How many people do you know that are talented but still broke, still stuck, still talking about what they could have been? You know why? Because talent without resilience is worthless. Skill without resilience is wasted. The most dangerous person in the room is not the one with the most talent. It's the one who refuses to quit. The one who's been through hell and still shows up. The one who's been doubted, rejected, overlooked, and still believes, still grinds, still climbs. That's who becomes unstoppable. Resilience isn't about bouncing back. It's about bouncing forward. It's about using every setback as fuel. It's about turning every no into a deeper why. It's about saying, you thought that would break me? Watch me rise. So yeah, it's going to be hard. There's going to be pain, but that pain has purpose. That pain is part of the process. That pain is the cost of becoming someone you never thought you could be. And if you can embrace it, if you can stand in the fire and refuse to back down, there is nothing I'm not here to tell you it's going to be easy. I'm here to tell you it's possible, but only if you're willing to endure. Only if you have the resilience to stay in the fight. Only if you got that dog in you. So when the struggle hits, and it will, don't fold. Don't cry about it. Don't wait for someone to save you. Dig deep, lock in, grind harder, stand taller, and keep going. Because it's not about how you start, it's about how much you can take and still finish. That's what separates the elite from everybody else. That's resilience. So now you've heard it all. You've been called out, you've been challenged, the question has been laid at your feet. How bad do you want it? Not how much you talk about it. Not how many vision boards you made. Not how many people you've told your dream to. Not how motivated you feel when the music's loud and the lights are bright. I'm asking. When everything quiets down, when the inspiration fades, when the pain shows up, when the world says no, when it's just you and the grind, how bad do you want it then? Because that's when it counts. That's when your truth shows. That's when the difference is made. Everybody says they want success, but most people want it with conditions. I'll go after it as long as it's convenient. I'll push as long as it doesn't hurt. I'll commit as long as I see results fast. That's not real hunger. That's weak ambition dressed in fake discipline. If you really want it, then there are no conditions. You grind when it's dark. You show up when it's painful. You commit when it's uncomfortable. You sacrifice when no one claps. You rise every single time life knocks you down. Not because it feels good, but because you refuse to lose. Understand this, greatness is not reserved for the chosen. It's earned by the committed. The ones who endure, the ones who sacrifice, the ones who don't just want it, they need it. It's in their DNA. It's not a dream, it's their identity. They don't chase the goal, they become the goal. You think champions got there because life was easy? Nah, they built resilience. Brick by brick in silence. They made sacrifice after sacrifice with no spot. They failed, got hurt, got laughed at, got told you'll never make it. And they kept going, kept believing, kept grinding. That's what built their legacy. So what about you? Are you done talking about it? Are you done waiting for the perfect moment, the right move, the guaranteed outcome? Or are you ready to go get it? Are you ready to outwork, outlast, outfocus everyone in your way? Because the life you want, the dream you carry, it's out there, but it won't chase you back. You have to chase it with everything inside you. And when it gets hard, and it will, you remember this moment. You remember why you started. You remember who you said you'd become. And you fight for it. You grind for it. You bleed for it. You show the world that your hunger was real. You showed them you didn't just want it, you needed it. And you went out and got it. Game on.